Thursday morning, everybody. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. Fall equinox is tomorrow, so I felt this was good to update you folks on the El Nino that continues to rage across the equatorial Pacific here. This is the sea surface temperature anomalies in degrees Celsius, and you can see with the orange and red blobs out here in towards the central Pacific, we are entering into moderate and even a strong El Nino status as we get closer here toward the fall equinox of 2023. And just to update you on what the Climate Prediction Center sees with this El Nino, it does continue to remain a 100% chance of the El Nino continuing through at least November of 2023, with still a 75 to 80% chance of the El Nino continuing into March of 2024. So this El Nino will be sticking around through the fall, the winter, and even the early spring months of 2024. So this will be with us for quite some time. And just to refresh your memory on what a typical El Nino pattern brings, we do have usually a less than ideal, less than active polar jet stream across portions of the Canadian prairies in the northern United States, bringing warmer conditions to the Aleutian Islands, southeast Alaska, through much of the western and central Canadian provinces and prairies here, and the northern tier of the United States is much warmer as well. Drier conditions from the southern Great Lakes down through the Ohio and Tennessee river valleys, but a more persistent and active subtropical jet is favored across California, across the southern tier of the United States, with also bringing cooler weather across those areas as well. And then up the East Coast, that's where we likely have that active nor'easter storm track as we get deeper into the winter months during an El Nino season. So if you like detailed weather breakdowns in North America, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and you're in. You get all of my updates here on this channel, and make sure to press the thumbs up button as this helps to get weather information dispersed to more and more people. And make sure to share this video. Press the share button, share this video on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc. to help to get the word out to more and more people. I definitely appreciate it. And we're already starting to see El Nino impacts here. Look at the jet stream today. This is a prime example of things that are changing, and we do see a more active subtropical jet down here from southern Alaska through the southern Four Corners region and into the southern plains, with a trough that's coming in off the west coast. And this is going to be our next big storm system as it takes us into the weekend here. We're talking about this right now. So the storm system coming in here to the Pacific Northwest will be making its inroads in toward California, into Washington State, Oregon, and Idaho this afternoon and this evening. And then as it moves further to the east, it's going to start to cause some trouble. We're going to have warm, moist, and unstable air coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, while at the same time, we're going to be seeing cool and stable air moving in from the northwest from Canada. And that clash of air masses will bring us some severe weather as early as today and even into Friday. And then as this starts to mature, we're going to have a low pressure system intensifying and maturing across the northern plains. The vorticity showing up a lot brighter on Saturday means a stronger surface low will be in play, and this could be one of the bigger days for severe weather on Saturday that we do see this weekend. So taking you through the severe weather outlook today, we have a couple areas we're monitoring for a slight risk of severe weather. That's a level 2 out of 5 on the scale that's on the left hand side of your screen. This does include areas into central Nebraska and down into North Texas and southern portions there of Oklahoma. We do have a tornado risk in both of those areas, and it's a little bit more heightened up here into central Nebraska, where you have the brown shaded color. That's essentially a 5 to 9% chance of a tornado within 50 miles. And zooming it in here, that's for North Platte and near the Hastings, Nebraska region as well. So if you live out there or know anybody that lives out there, watch out for a couple of tornadoes this afternoon and evening, along with the threat for damaging winds and large hail. Timing this out, this afternoon, we do have isolated to widely scattered coverage of showers and storms. A couple supercells out here. We'll have to be watching for a couple of tornadoes. The highest coverage, at least for Nebraska, will come this evening into the overnight hours as a mesoscale convective system, or MCS for short, does move through portions there of central Nebraska. Damaging winds and large hail will be by far the main risk of severe weather, but a couple spin-up tornadoes will be possible, especially if we can get a couple of thunderstorms to flare up outside outside of the main area of storms ahead of the line as we go into tonight. Then as we go into Friday, the similar area, again, the low pressure system on Friday is not going to be moving too fast. So we're going to see another similar area of severe weather from portions of South Dakota getting into central Nebraska, into eastern Nebraska, back including the North Platte region, Hastings, and then up there toward Rapid City, even the Sioux Falls region, Omaha, and Topeka, Kansas, all in play for severe weather. Whether it's in the dark green, a marginal risk, a level 1 out of 5, or in the yellow, a slight risk, a 2 out of 5 on the scale there. That's on the right-hand side of your screen. We are looking at least a 2% chance of tornadoes across southern South Dakota, getting into central and eastern Nebraska on Friday. This is for tomorrow. Looking at this, the peak coverage of severe storms will be Friday evening as it crosses through portions of Nebraska, getting into southeastern South Dakota and northwestern Iowa. Watching out, the southern side of this line is going to be a little bit more broken in nature, more semi-discrete supercells developing. That could hold some rotation and produce some tornadoes as we go into Friday evening. Then as we go into Saturday, more interesting setup. We're going to see a maturing low pressure system with a cold front attached to it that will swing across the mid-Missouri Valley. And we have a pretty sizable area of severe weather on Saturday with portions there of Iowa, getting into Missouri, into Kansas, Oklahoma, and even North Texas could be seeing some severe weather on Saturday. The slight risk is in the yellow. That's a level 2 out of 5. This includes Sioux Falls, Des Moines, Omaha, getting down into Wichita and Topeka, Kansas, getting into Kansas City, Missouri, and maybe even as far south as Oklahoma City metro region and the Tulsa metro region as we go into Saturday as well. The main mode by far will be damaging winds and large hail, but I feel that a couple tornadoes will be possible as well, possibly even as far north as southern Minnesota and southeastern South Dakota as we go closer to that low pressure system, or near the triple point as we call it, where the low pressure system, the warm front, and the cold front come together. That's where we'll be watching as we go into Saturday. Here's the setup Saturday evening: a line of showers and storms, and this is going to be a maturing low pressure system. I would not be surprised if we do see tornadoes as far north as Minnesota here, South Dakota, or northern Iowa. That's closer to the track of the low. We have a lot more shear and a lot more rotation up here, so that will be something to watch as we go into Saturday evening. And this will be after dark, by the way, so make sure to remain alert with any watches and warnings that you do have out there. But more importantly as well, we need the rainfall, total rainfall accumulation here now through Monday to start the next work week. Plentiful rain across the middle of the country here, right where we need it for most areas across portions of the upper Midwest, the mid-Missouri Valley down into the southern plains. We even have a flooding risk, so we'll have to keep an eye out for flooding here into eastern Oklahoma, getting in towards portions of northeast Texas, western portions of Arkansas, southwestern Missouri as we go through today and into Friday morning. This is because a lot of these totals will be coming just over the next 24 hours. So a lot of these 3, 4, even 5-inch rainfall totals will be coming as we go through today into Friday and even Saturday morning in just a 2 to 3 day span. So that could cause some flash flooding, especially if we see repeated rounds of showers and thunderstorms through this area getting through the weekend time frame. But overall, long range, it looks unchanged. We see above average temperatures across the heartland of the country, along and east there of the Rockies, and more troughs coming into the west, and the Pacific Northwest will yield below average temperatures from Washington State down through Oregon and into California, parts of Nevada here, and western Idaho from September 26th through the 30th, right through the end of the month. And just previewing some of those temperatures: high temperatures starting the work week on Monday, the 25th of September. Pretty warm. We're hot down here across the Gulf Coast into the low and middle 90s. The feedback from the drought down in toward the Rio Grande Valley will shoot our temperatures up into toward the triple digit point down here toward Brownsville, down toward Corpus Christi here, even there toward the Houston region into the middle 90s at 94 on Monday. Further north, a little bit cooler, but still some above average temperatures into the 80s, all the way up into southern Nebraska, into northern Kansas there on Monday. As we extend into Wednesday, the middle of the week, much of the same. We start to cool off a little bit for South Texas and the Gulf Coast by then. And then as we go into Friday, we'll heat right back up into the middle 90s down here into central and southern Texas and near the Gulf Coast near 90 degrees, but plenty of areas that are going to be seeing fall like temperatures, even slightly above average, but still fall like temperatures, with the areas seeing the 60s and 70s out here for the northern tier of the United States and southeastern Canada by the end of next week as well on Friday. Looking at the precipitation trends, it does look active. The Pacific Northwest well above average precipitation. Several of these shortwave troughs will be pushing in to the Pacific Northwest here, so we'll be seeing above average precip for you. Below average here around the lee side of the Rockies, where we won't be seeing much action here in toward the end of September, and across the Great Lakes and especially New England, we're really just not going to see a lot of rain through the last few days here of the month of September. Turning to the tropical weather update, we are monitoring an area of interest off the coast of off the coast of the Carolinas and Georgia and even eastern Florida here. The National Hurricane Center has a 40% chance of development over the next few days. And looking at the icon model, does fairly good in the short and medium term. Today, we're starting to see the lowering of the pressure, some organized or semi-organized activity starting to develop just to the east here of Jacksonville and Savannah, Georgia this afternoon and evening, with some rainfall out there. Then a subtropical cyclone starts to feed in closer to the Carolina coast there, off the coast of Myrtle Beach and Wilmington as well, there into North Carolina on Friday tomorrow. The northern side of the cyclone will probably have the heaviest shield of rain. And then as we go into Saturday, all that heavy rainfall will be filtering up there into the Delmarva region, into Pennsylvania, into New Jersey, into portions of Boston there, Long Island, New York City, you name it, up across those areas, Hartford included, as we go into Saturday. So probably a soggy go of it with the rainfall out there on Saturday for the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, and much of the weekend really, because Sunday we have lingering showers up here into the New England and the Northeast as well for Boston, New York City, Hartford, and even up toward the Albany region in New York. So it's going to be a rainy weekend this weekend across portions of the East Coast and the Northeast. And here's your total rainfall accumulation now through the next Wednesday's time frame on September 27th. If this moves again a little bit further west, these bright orange shaded colors are 6 inches plus. So we could be easily talking about 5, 6, 7 inches or more across portions of eastern North Carolina, eastern Virginia, even Delaware here, southern New Jersey. So make sure that if this storm moves a little bit further to the west, turn around, don't drown. There could be some flash flooding concerns here regardless, but a good 1 to 3 inches are it's on the way from Boston through portions of Long Island, New York City here, the Hartford region in Connecticut, all the way down through Washington, D.C., the Roanoke, Richmond, Virginia region, all the way southward toward the Wilmington and Raleigh area there into North Carolina as we go through next week. That is for sure. Then we're watching a system deeper out into the Atlantic here, just coming off of the African coast over the past couple of days. The National Hurricane Center gives us a 70% chance, a likelihood of developing in the main development region, away from any source of land really, as we go through the next 5 to 10 days here. You can see across the North Atlantic Ocean, that wave is just coming off the African coast. So we have plenty of time to watch this. No need to panic. The next named storm will actually be Ophelia. So if this storm does become named, it will be Ophelia as we go over the next several days. So let's monitor this right now. On Saturday, we'll start to see lowering of the pressure. It's pretty disorganized tropical wave out here into the middle of the North Atlantic, into the main development region here, well to the east of the Lesser Antilles. Early next week, to start the work week on Monday the 25th, still well to the east of the Leeward Islands as we go to that time frame. And then the European model does suggest this is going to just take a very similar track to what Lee did, just to the north and east there of the Leeward Islands by Wednesday as we go through that time frame. And just looking a little bit further out, the ensemble guidance helps us out with that, especially when you're looking at longer than a week out here. This is the EPS ensemble members. This is from the European suite of models. And you can see by next Friday, September 29th, we start to see a little bit more of uncertainty of where this will go. This could be a fish storm way out here in missing Bermuda, or this could be closer toward the greater Antilles down here as close as Puerto Rico or the Dominican Republic as Haiti as well. So This is something to watch as we go through the next several days. Again, we have a week to watch this, folks, so there is going to be no storm near land for about a week over here into the North Atlantic. So there is no need to panic. We're just going to keep watching it for you right here on Weather on the Go. If you have not seen my winter weather forecast for 2023 and 24, the video is in the description down below this video, and make sure to go watch that and leave a comment and questions and concerns if you have any for the winter weather forecast. And also make sure to press the thumbs up button, give it a like, as well as I spent a lot of time on that winter forecast for you folks. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching today's video. Give this video a thumbs up as well. Share this video with friends, family, and on social media, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc. It definitely helps out. And also leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their Thursday out there.